was somebody's father or husband or brother. And the police worked so hard to save him. And
Kathleen Simko was one of the dozens of shoppers in the mall and in Macy's yesterday, but one of the few, as you can hear in her voice, one of the few with a firsthand account and upfront view of the tragedy and how it all unfolded just before 2 p.m. yesterday afternoon. Kathleen posted about this experience yesterday on social media and was willing to share her story with our Maggie O'Mara this morning. Kathleen told us yesterday was her day to run errands, with just a couple of days between travel dates. She said she went to Macy's to get bed sheets and was about to head upstairs to get those sheets when she spotted something she thought she would buy for her granddaughter. So instead of heading up the escalator, because the clothes had a security tag attached to it, Kathleen said she went to the checkout counter instead, the one on the lower level, east side, near the entrance to the mall. She was just shopping on a rainy Monday, she says, not something usually worth remembering. But what happened over the next several minutes will stay with Kathleen for the rest of her life.
I was standing in line and heard very clearly, very distinctly, 5 to 6 shots. Immediately, I knew they were gunshots. And people started running and panicking. I don't know why. I instinctively started running towards where the shots had come from. And I saw the glimpse of a person running from outside the Macy's. It was a man, a tallish man with a black vest or a jacket on. And then I hid in a rack of dresses. It was silent for a second, and then more shots rang out, followed by breaking glass, what sounded like breaking glass, and footsteps. And my sense was it was a person running. And then it was deafening quiet. There was no sound. I knew there were people hiding close to me, but nobody made a sound. Nobody called on the phone. Nobody felt like they were breathing. I texted my husband back and forth. It seemed like I was there forever, but in looking back at the text, it was probably 8 or 9 minutes. I thought I heard what sounded like a police walkie-talkie, so I left. That was probably stupid, but you do things out of instinct. You don't know why you do them. You can't explain them. And so I left and walked around to the escalator, which is in the center of the Macy's near the jewelry and makeup. And I saw the glass was shattered out of the escalator. I started to run up the escalator and I saw a cell phone and I saw a bag and I saw blood, and I looked in at the top of the stairs. There was a gentleman lying down. The police officers were doing CPR, and I thought maybe I can take over for them while they do something else. The paramedics hadn't gotten there yet. And I got to the top of the stairs and I just froze. I couldn't find my voice to ask. I heard them talking and they said, I don't find an exit wound. He doesn't have a pulse. And I couldn't move. I thought I'm just going to be in the way. So I turned around and walked back down and sat at the bottom of the stairs for a while. And paramedics came and police came, and it felt chaotic. And eventually people started coming out of where they had been hiding. And I felt numb. I was comforting other people who were crying because I didn't have any feelings or emotions at that point in time. And eventually we were escorted. We were asked to wait outside. We waited a long time. We were just told to wait. And I felt like I was doing okay until they brought a body out. And I knew that it was the gentleman that I had seen at the top of this escalator and that he died. And there was nothing else anybody could do for him. And I felt like he had been afraid and alone and scared, and I just felt helpless, and it felt surreal, and it was the most horrifying thing. And you can't imagine going through it. You never in a million years think it's going to happen to you until it does, and it's so sad. It's just so sad.
As you can imagine, and as you can hear in her voice, Kathleen says she thought about the details of yesterday afternoon all night last night. wrestling with survivor's guilt and second-guessing her decisions. She said she goes from thinking if only she could have gotten to that victim sooner, Mr. Padilla, to help stop the bleeding. Maybe. She goes to second-guessing her decision to come out of hiding at all, from wishing she could have helped more to wishing she stayed in that clothes rack so she wouldn't have to see what she saw at the top of that escalator. It's a memory Kathleen says she can't shake. But she does plan on leaning on her friends and on counseling to work her way through it.